Dudes, what's happening? This is Trent, and today it is Friday, July 13th. This is Trent's Comment Corner, number 14, I think. A while back, I made a commitment to every week, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read your comments to you. Well, I mean, technically, you could just read these, but then you wouldn't know how I'm trying to have a dialogue. I'm trying to respond. I'm responding to all of your comments every Friday. And I've been doing that for a while now. I know that's not what you guys all come here for, but some people do. And so for those dudes, for those people out there, I appreciate it, and I want to keep this open dialogue. You've given me some great ideas for topics for other videos. That's where the illustration versus concept art video came from. And this video, oh my god. Okay, well, it's not that surprising. It's a very controversial video. A lot of people. I got some hate letters about it. I got some praise about it, but it's a topic that some people are very invested in. I knew that when I made the video. Anyway, views are skyrocketing on it. A lot of pros are sharing it because these are things that aren't talked about very much. Anyway, a lot of the comments are going to be about that. I also posted a new brush set for Sketchbook Pro this week called Pattern Wall, which is mostly for getting pattern brushes into Sketchbook Pro, and my video kind of teaches a little bit of how you can do that yourself. So let's jump right into it. Let's mosey on over to some comments. Okay, so what do we got? Absolutely Dreadful says, "Ew." Thanks, Absolutely Dreadful. I don't know what you're talking about. Look at your icon. Just look at what you drew. Are you saying ew? Look at what you did. Absolutely Dreadful. Uber Shy Guy says, "I'm completely overwhelmed by Photoshop. I want to learn, but even the most simple tutorials go so fast, and it's even more frustrating that I use Photoshop 7, which is a version no one uses." You're right, Uber Shy Guy. Photoshop 7 is like 10 years old, brother. You got to upgrade. I think Photoshop is only $10 or $20 a month, which I know it's expensive. There is, I think, a free version on mobile, and I know that you can get like a demo for it, and it's worth it to just, here's the thing, man. Don't be overwhelmed. Break it down into small pieces. Just start out with one or two tools. You don't have to absorb everything in, like I did a Photoshop for Beginners video, and you don't have to absorb everything in there. You don't have to know everything that's in there. Just learn a couple of things each time. Come back to it. Pick up a new little tip. Oh, that's the selection tool. Oh, that's the rotate canvas tool. It's there for you to review over and over, and the video format allows you to just slowly take it at your own speed. You got a long way to go if that's frustrating you, but it's not impossible. Everything can be broken down by scheduling a small amount of time every day. I have an alarm to write for 40 minutes. Well, it's an hour with a little bit of review time every single day, and I stick to that. I drop what I'm doing. Everybody in my family and my house and my everybody I work with knows, hey, don't call me during that time. My phone is off. That is the time that I am studying for my thing. Well, technically I'm writing, but that's how I'm going to grow. So Uber Shy Guy, just stick with it. Take it at your own speed. Another video that I posted this week was a Banjo-Kazooie tribute piece. I love these games. I recently bought an Xbox. I've been going through and playing some of the Rare Replay games. Having a good time with specifically Beat Banjo-Kazooie. I'm playing Banjo-Tooie now. It's a bit of a grind, man. You gotta go all over the place. They just put a lot of walking stuff going on. It's not as good of a design as the first one. But anyway, yes, brought me back to my childhood, man. Grillat Games says, "Banjo games are silly, but they honestly gave me the fear more than most serious games." Tooie is like, "Here are a bunch of beloved settings of the childhood imagination, but hostile and miserable. Witchy World confirmed my childhood suspicion that carnivals and circuses were actually bad, despite the animal cracker hype. A lot of dark, dramatic lighting and threatening enemies. Good stuff, and the canary." Yes, there's some good stuff in Banjo-Tooie. I like the lighthearted vibe, and I'm glad that you agree, Grillat Games. Moshe Glick says, "Hey, first time ever to find your videos. They are amazing." Well, thank you. "I am trying to purchase and buy your Photoshop package of cheats, but for some reason it is not going through. Please let me know if you fixed the link so I can buy it." The link is appropriately fixed. It should be working, brother. There's no reason why not to. Plenty of people are buying my latest box of Photoshop cheats. I didn't mention that. Dudes, I made a legendary Photoshop cheats collection. It is legendary because these are the most guarded secrets of the industry, man. When I'm doing paint overs of other people's work, or if I got to turn in a painting, dudes, I never spend more than 6 hours on a painting because I use a lot of cheats and hacks, and I barely even draw much at all. And that specific box set, it's like little 5 or 10 minute videos with exercises set up to teach you all of my cheapest, most vile, evil secrets, the things that you can use to just not have to work so much. Anyway, that's my shameless plug. Thanks, Moshe Glick. Go check that out. And let me know what you think. One of the requests in the video series, the workshop series, is to tag me on social media, because I will retweet it, I will repost it. I'd love to see what other people come up with using these hacks. Robert Lopez says, hello. I was wondering how you switch brush sizes so quickly. Yes, dude, it is I'm going to have to take a screenshot here. Well, I'm going to have to use my phone camera, but there are 2 buttons that you can click on. The brackets allow you to change your brush size in almost every painting program worth its salt. You can switch brush sizes using those. The left one is smaller, the right one is bigger. That's right, baby. And don't forget about the Alt key, which is your color dabber. Pretty much, those are the main keys that I use. Unless if it's Sketchbook Pro, then you're using the space bar a lot. So many comments to like. Look at this. Look at this. Will Paternoir, my new pattern brush set for Sketchbook Pro, be included in the latest box set? Kristen Benson wants to know. Yes, it is not currently, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. Jessica H says, hey, I loved your illustration versus concept video, but I wanted to let you know that 11 minutes, when you're looking at that lined and colored vamp on the left, that's not actually Yoji Shinkawa's art. It was done by Chihoko Uchiyama. Her job at Koji Pro is to look at his beautifully messy sketches and translate them into usable turnarounds for the rest of the art team to work off of. Whenever you see pieces in MGS art books of a character that looks like that, with the clean lines and the subtle shading, that's her turnarounds. It's a shame that not many people know about her. Her work gets constantly misattributed to Shinkawa, but I think she deserves her own shout out. You go, lady. So, Jessica H., this comment blew my mind, but it does reveal a sort of dark side of the video game industry. This is something that I think may require a little bit more research. So I did a little bit of research. I looked up on Metal Gear Wikia. Chihoko Uchiyama is a Japanese concept artist who was employed by Konami between 2002 and 2015. She worked on the Metal Gear series as a character designer since Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater alongside Yoji Shinkawa. Her work consisted primarily of adapting Shinkawa's character designs into model sheets for the 3D graphic designers, although she has also contributed her own ideas and designs into the game as well, I'm sure. After the disbanding of the original Kojima Productions, she became a member of the new independent incarnation. Whoa! I mean, whoa! Okay, so, lot to unpack here. First of all, it does support my comment in my video about production art isn't glamorous. It's not. But it's essential. You know, what Chihoko Uchiyama is essential, what she's done is essential to the development of the Metal Gear series if she's doing those breakdowns. You know, and we want to believe that one guy created that whole game. We want to believe that that one guy was the visionary guy, and so like that's why it's easy to market that sort of a thing. You can't very well give full credit to every single person in a development pipeline who did a thing, but I have a huge newfound respect for Chihoko Uchiyama's contribution to one of my favorite series of all time, and she's somebody that I'm going to be researching and looking up a lot more. This is a perfect example, though, of supporting what I had said in my video, which is that if you want to find work in game development, make yourself a useful part of a team, not just the rock star guy, the rock star glamorous guy. But that might also not be what you want, you know, and that's kind of what my video was about, too. I want to thank Jessica H. for bringing this to my awareness. I should have done a little bit more research on this. I'm sad that all these years I didn't know. But I do stand corrected, and I'll do everything in my part to bring more awareness to Chiyoko Uchiyama's contribution to my favorite series whenever I'm talking about it anyway. Still love Yoji Shinkawa's illustrations, but I also really enjoy Chiyoko Uchiyama's character designs. Eric Luther Knives asks, great videos, Trent. Do you ever use Sketchbook on the iPad? Thank you. Eric, you know what? I tried it out and I do really like it. I just don't draw on the screen. I draw on a MacBook Pro with a Intuos Pro medium-sized tablet. That's just comfortable for me, so I can sit upright and draw that way. Nothing against the tablet, I just don't use it. Earl Sinclair asks, hey Trent, I bought your portfolio workshop, but I have a question. You structure the portfolio into categories like flashy stuff, breakdowns, and so on, but your examples seem to come from random projects. Do you show 3 projects with 5 pages each, or just show 15 awesome pieces no matter what it's from? Earl, the thing that I do is if I'm structuring my portfolio for a client, I think about specifically what that client does. So for instance, I don't include my Diablo 3 concept art in a portfolio for, say, if I were applying to a Ratchet and Clank or a Jack and Daxter kind of a project. And vice versa, I wouldn't include my World of Warcraft designs in a portfolio that's for Naughty Dog, for The Last of Us or something like that. I would look at what I have, what I've worked on that is relevant to the company that I'm applying for, to the project that I'm applying for, and I would only include the artwork that is relevant to that direction, that style, that process, because they want to see that you already get it. They want to see that they're not going to have to train you to understand how to get the art style or the design logic or the construction logic of their universe. They want to know that you already kind of get that. So only include the pieces that are fitting for that type of game that you're going to be applying for. So it doesn't matter if it's from multiple different projects, just as long as the style is cohesive and consistent with the person you're applying to. Jesse Suhonen says, I bought the early access for Ikeda and thought I'd share some feedback and critique. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He wrote a lot of very thorough feedback, which I'm super grateful to Jesse for. That's why I wanted to give him a quick shout out and a thank you. He did mention some areas that were just too difficult. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm adjusting the time limit thing. I had a time limit feature that just, you die if you run out of time, but you have to collect these little time extenders. And I'm kind of ditching that on a stage basis. I will probably have it for specific rooms, but once you get through that room, you're out. I also want to ditch the limited number of lives or anything like that, so it's just something that you can enjoy the fun of playing without, and it'll be challenging, but without a lot of the I guess the difficulty thing for me was that I got very good at my own game, obviously, and because I played it for a lot of hours. And so for me, it looks too easy when I take some of this stuff out. But when I watch other people play it, I realize it's very difficult. So I'm tuning that and adjusting that. You're going to see some massive updates in the next version that's coming out very, very soon. The Steam release has gotten delayed a little bit because of the summer sale, and also a lot of the new features that I'm adding that's changing some of the game design. More collectibles. Kana left an interesting comment that he or she says, my thoughts with experience in the concept art industry is that it's already oversaturated. More recently, in the last few years, I've witnessed a massive jump in the number of applications to concept art jobs due to its recent media coverage and hype. Is there media coverage and hype for concept artists? This is news to me. This may sound pessimistic, but it's true. On an average, each company only needs 1 to 5 concept artists. Only the best artists in North America have consistent work at high-level studios. At GDC, the line at Blizzard's recruitment booth stretched at least 400 people long. Kana, I don't entirely agree with you, because the problem, and this is why I started making videos a little bit more about what concept art is, because there are so many people, of those 400 people in that line for the Blizzard recruitment booth, probably only 10 actually understand what concept art is and what production development art is. And it's not as glamorous as they think it is, so they'll have a portfolio full of a lot of glamorous stuff. And here's the tricky part. A lot of the HR guys at different studios, I'm not saying specifically any one studio, but I have had HR guys at game development studios saying, I don't know what to look for in a concept artist portfolio. They're just looking for cool, fancy illustrations. And then they pass that on to the development team. And then the development team says, these are pretty, but they're not as useful to us as somebody who can do the production design work. So that's where it gets tricky, is that the reason why it's so competitive and flooded is because you have a lot of schools that are teaching students the wrong methods for what concept art is. And so you have literally the beautiful thing about it is that 99% of your competition is misinformed. It's not oversaturated with people who know what they're doing. It's actually undersaturated, and I have a lot of HR friends in HR departments at game studios who are frustrated that they can't find people who know what concept art is, and they can't find people who they can actually pass through the process. That's why so few of them actually get hired, because you have to be able to rock both. And that's where my portfolio workshop comes in handy. The beginning of your portfolio, I'll just summarize. The beginning of your portfolio should have some pretty illustrations. The middle should show your production art ability, breakdowns, turnarounds, the ability to draw things in a sense of 3D space, front, back, side, behind arms, under cloaks, the model sheets, and then finish it off with a nice, clean, illustrated wrapper that looks freaking beautiful. So they're reminded, oh yeah, this guy can illustrate like crazy too. You got some spatterings of some icons or UI, or maybe some 3D in there as well, and you're gold. If you're frustrated because you're not getting jobs, it's because you're not doing the job right. You're not reaching the level of usefulness to a studio for them enough to go, oh yeah, this is somebody whose work will up the quality of everybody else on our team, or really help us to reach the finish line in our production. Gene Kirsten says, hey Trent, any tips for a 16-year-old guy who wants to become a concept designer? Man, if I could go back in time, whew. So I was just drawing comic books when I was 16 because I wanted to make video games. And those comic books, they got bought by people who made video games, and so they started to become aware of me. But it wasn't until I actually started making games that I was able to transition into becoming a concept artist. So my advice to you at 16 years old is to join mod communities, join indie game development communities, and start to make games. You become the thing that you do every day. The more you do it, the more you understand it. That's how you get your experience. That's how you get your connections. That's how you get into the biz. That's what I would suggest to anyone who wants to do anything. Just get in there and do it with other people. Video Game Concept says, question, I once saw a YouTube video where the guy said, don't bother about callout sheets in your website. If an art director sees the finished piece, he'll be confident that you can come up with the callout. How do you feel about that statement? Also, do you offer portfolio critiques? For how much? Video Game Concept. If I look at somebody's concept art portfolio and they have no breakdowns, it tells me they do not understand the role. They do not understand what they're going to actually be doing in a concept artist role in-house in production. You need the callouts and the breakdowns in your portfolio. Check out my portfolio workshop for exactly what you should have in your portfolio. As for doing portfolio critiques, I don't do them anymore. Damn, your stuff is really awesome though. Great illustrations, but you need some callouts in there. All I'll say, Video Game Concept, about your portfolio is that you have great illustrations. You look like a tremendous illustrator for fantasy projects. All right, dudes, that's it for me on this one. Don't forget, you can always leave comments or questions in the comments field below each video, and I will address them every Friday. All right, dudes, that's it for me on this one. I'll catch you on the Manana Banda. Ciao, baby. Yeah.